How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is RuffledRowlit, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Guess what? We have ourselves a bunch of new updates in Pokemon, new Tera raid battles, and free things you can do in Pokemon, which are pretty awesome. So first things first, guys, if you want to get your hands on these things, there basically is 4 new Tera raid battles. Now, they actually haven't shown up yet. For some reason, they haven't shown up here on the news page on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. They're not shown here yet. The only thing you see is actually still the 2 events that we already know about, which is the Empoleon and the Valentine's one. But basically, to just get access to these, make sure you go into your mystery gift section here. Once you're mystery gift, just go to check Pokeportal news, and it will update like the world and stuff for you. So yeah, you should be set in that way. Either way, though, guys, what are we talking about? Well, today we have a brand new set of free things to do in Pokemon, I think. New events, rather, which in this case is going to be these ones. So these events, right, are basically the next Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Tera Raid Battle event has been announced. It offers a 3 to 5 star, okay? 3 to 5 stars. There's not 7-star raids, which is unfortunate. I know a lot of people are going to get disappointed by that. But it's something, okay? It's better than nothing. It's something to do, and it's going to run for a while. So it's going to offer you a 3 to 5-star Stonejourner, an Ice Cube, Armor Rouge, or Cerulege. And it's going to run from February 16th through February 18th. And if we go over to Celebi here, we actually can check out the post about it. They say here the pretty much same thing. This Tera Raid Battle event has been announced for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This event will feature a focus on Pokemon, the Pokemon that are Stonejourner, Ice-Cube, Armor Rouge, and Cerulege. Also, regardless of which version of the game you have, these will be in a 3, 4, and 5-star raid. So they are not exclusive, right? It's not one of those things where, like, Cerulege is only available in Scarlet and Armor Rouge is only available in Violet and vice versa and so on and so forth. Basically, there's no exclusivity between them, so keep that in mind. Speaking of which, though, there is also the other event, which is starting today. So this is actually the last chance you have to get your hands on the mighty Empoleon Tera Raid Battle, which began its second run right now, like today. And it's going to run until the end of Sunday. So literally midnight Sunday, that's until you have one to get it. So keep that in mind. If you don't get it now, you're not really going to be in a lot of luck. And they also say here that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Mighty Empoleon Tera Raid Battle has begun its second run, with Blissey returning as an additional raid, which is pretty cool. So there you go. And again, here you guys can see the same point, which is the latest Tera Raid Battle event in Scarlet and Violet has begun its repeat run. This event is the Mighty Empoleon event. It gives players a chance to battle and catch Empoleon with an Ice Tera type. If you previously caught Empoleon from the event, you can't catch it again here. Along this, Blissey returns to a 5-star Tera Raid battle with increased Tera shards and candy rewards. That's pretty good. This event runs until February 11th, 2024. Again, end of Sunday. We have full details over on the Empoleon Tera Raid Battle event section. So again, if you want to defeat this one, honestly, Iron Hand's your best friend. But yeah, that pretty much summarizes that piece of information. Speaking of other pieces of information, we can actually scroll down here on actually, like, Celebi itself. So there's been a bunch of, like, small things happening, just generally small stuff. I already talked about this, but Pokemon, Scarlet and Violet Pokemon are coming to the Spirit Board in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. You also have, like, this new music collaboration that's been released, a song called Never Be Alone by Jax Jones. And again, I'm gonna be real, I hate these collaborations they do with famous artists and stuff like that. I don't like it. I don't really care for it. I just, honestly, I'd rather listen to Masuda make a new track than I would want to listen. Like, listen, I love Post Malone, but I don't want to see Post Malone doing a freaking, you know, I don't know, a concert for Pokemon. It's stupid. It's really, like, again, I like him. I like his music. But I don't freaking need that. I don't need him to be singing random songs in a Pokemon Presents. Like, that shit is dumb. And I hope that this is not, like, you know, gonna happen again. But, because that's just a waste of money. I'm gonna be real. It's just a waste of money. Moving on. The Victor's Cooking Class story event has also began in Pokemon Masters. So if you are playing Masters, I know a lot of people have been messaging me like, hey man, there are ways you can play Masters. Problem is, I'm not in the mood right now to be switching countries on my phone to another country just to play this game. It's just not worth the time investment to do that for me. And also, I have important stuff on my phone that I need to use on my regular Belgian account. So that's not happening. But either way, that's that. Let's move on to something else. Again, this was all the official news, and you guys can get your hands on these guys. Make sure to do it when you do play the game. Definitely worth it if you want to get these guys in, you know, for the Tera Raid battles. Again, in terms of, like, what typings they'll have, as far as I can tell, based on the logos, Ice Cube, Ice type, Stonejourner, I mean Rock type, I'm guessing, and so basically it just matches their one of their types. Like, I think, as far as I'm aware, it just matches up with one of their types. So like Ghost, and I guess this is Psychic. If I'm not mistaken, I think I think it is. I think it is. But yeah, that pretty much is that for that, guys. Okay, so we talked about like some of the official news, but this is a massive post, okay? This is huge, okay? So this was a post made by Riddler Koo. Now, some of you guys may know him, some of you guys may not know him, but he is a legitimate leaker. Like, we've talked about him for years now, and his information is legitimately always pretty much right. Occasionally, he will get some things off, and that's mostly down to the fact that, like, things change in development, right? If they plan to add a Pokemon with massive, like a massive bunda, like, you know, at some point, and they decided, let's not do that anymore, and he just got that information and it changed over time, that happens, okay? And he's been correct. Like, I feel like it's so funny how, like, he gets so much stuff right, and then there's, like, this one thing that's a bit off, and people are like, he's incorrect, he doesn't know shit, bro. But he tweeted this out, which it genuinely seems like he's just messing with us. Like, he's just trolling us at this point. Where he says, Happy Chinese New Year. Love you guys. And, of course, this year in the Chinese calendar, as far as I'm aware, is the year of the dragon. And he posts an image of 2 dragons. I think these are both from, I think they're from Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not sure. But one of them is a white one, and the other one is a black one. The only game I can think of in Pokemon that would be related to this, of course, is Pokemon Black and Pokemon White. So the question is he just trolling us here, or is this him trying to hint at something? Is this trying to hint at, like, you know, something? Now, some of the things people said is that these 2, like, actual plushies are basically chibi plushies, right? Like, and when I say chibi, I mean just kind of cute plushies in a sense, right? They're like cute and small and cute and, you know, basically like chibi. They're not like you know, they look a little bit like how the BDSP style of things looks like. So you guys can see right here. This is the official, actual, like, you know, page here from Konami, I think. And yeah, it's basically Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters Dragon Big Plush. It's just whatever. It's not that big of a deal. However, if you go back to the original post here, a lot of people were saying, does this mean that we're going to get a chibi? And again, the only thing I can think of when I think of chibi is BDSP. So if we look up BDSP, like actual graphics, for those who do not know what I'm referring to when we say chibi, it's basically art style like this, right? Like, this is what we're talking about when we say chibi, like this art style. This is a chibi art style, right? It's small and cute and kind of fuzzy. And the question is, does this mean that he's trying to imply that the Pokemon Black and White would be, you know, a chibi-styled remake? I hope not. I hope to God it's not the case. I hope I'm incorrect. I'm hoping that we're just, you know, our brains are just overthinking this shit. But it is a bit sus, though, isn't it? Like, it's a little bit sus, man. It's a little bit susserino. So I thought I would include this. And you can see people here just kind of asking questions. I hope I will have this, too, if you know what I mean. And it's a purple eyes gray dragon because, you know, it is what it is. And he says, I only love red eyes black dragon. Which I don't know, Chief. I don't know, man. Again, it's a bit odd. It's a bit sus that he's tweeting these things. Again, black and white. It's literally the thing we're seeing here. It's just black and white reappearing over and over and over again. And people are just like, you know, crying about the fact that you know, he included these chibi images. And he says here, the fact that the man put the plushes of a blue eyes white dragon and a red eyes black dragon is to reference Reshiram and Zekrom, same colors for eyes and the body, which is true. Yes, that's very much correct. Nothing too crazy there. Which, yeah, do you guys think that this is him trying to hint at us getting a black and white type game? Because, again, he's been pointing towards Unova and Johto himself. More Unova, to be honest. He's pointing more to Unova, but he has also pointed towards a Johto game. So does this pretty much mean that he's hinting to us and actually telling us, guess what, guys? You are getting a black and white remake, but you may not be happy about it. I don't know, man. I'm curious. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section down below, and let's move on to the next thing. Let's move on now to some small Pokemon rumors from 4chan. Starting things off with this post right here from Anonymous, who says, Pokemon Future Game by Anonymous, posted literally yesterday. So here's what it says. Sorry for my bad English. All right, that's fine. That's not an issue. I'm going to move my camera over here so you guys can actually see it. So it says, sorry for my bad English, okay? I have some information from 4 Pokemon next year's. This doesn't sound like somebody who's actually bad at English. This sounds like somebody trying to sound like they're bad at English. That's what this sounds like. Now, 3 major games are in development. 2 are being made by Game Freak and 1 from an external team. Wouldn't be that shocking if it's true. The first is a Gen 2 remake in grid style. Now, what he says by grid style, is basically, think of Pokemon, the original Pokemon games. the way you walk in those games isn't free form. You can't just run in any direction, right? You're stuck walking from like square to square, right? Because you're walking essentially in a grid that's been made. So you walk one pixel, you know, like not one singular pixel, but you're walking one square per like movement, right? So you can never do like, you know, spins and walk diagonally and stuff. Like that's not possible in Pokemon games. However, that's basically what he's referring to. That's going to be a grid-styled game. Let's Go style and BDSP gameplay, which, I don't know, Chief. That would be, I mean, whatever. I don't know if I want a Gen 2 remake like that, but we'll see. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Next one, though, he says here, is a second game is a Gen 5 reinvention in open space grid. Huh? What is that even supposed to mean? That, like, brother, where are you going with this one? Like, you're lost in the sauce, dog. That just doesn't make any sense. Reinvention in open space grid. Again, doesn't make any sense to me. It just sounds really redundant in a sense. But let's move on. The last is the next-gen Pokemon. It'll be have the highest budget ever with 15 billion yen budget for development. Now, let me do the real quick math here, okay? So, we're talking about, like, yen to USD, right? Let's just do yen to USD. 15 billion, okay? Or say, no, what was it, 15? Yeah, 15 billion yen. It does not sound like a realistic number that they would use. So let's see. So if we do the numbers here, 15 million yen is about $100,000. So 15 million yen is about that. 115 million yen is about $1 million, right? Let's see. So if we do the math here, so if we have, like, you know, let's see, 15 billion, by the way, that would put us at, let's see, so that's 3 zeros. Another, $100 million budget, give or take. Let's see, 15 billion yen to USD. That puts us at about 100 million United States dollars. Now, listen, Pokemon games, like, have never been expensive. That's the thing about Pokemon games that's really nice to Game Freak and all of them, is that they are just so easy to create for a very high profit. Like, it's like low effort, high profit margin, right? Like, you basically make so much money back on these games in terms of just pure money, right? 100 million is not that crazy. Like, most expensive, let's see, most expensive video game made literally was Destiny back in 2014. Now, if we look at the actual price of that, right? Like, what was the price of that? So Destiny, okay, let's see. So the most, like one of the cheaper, on the cheaper end, right? Cheaper end on this list. So number 20 is Red Dead Redemption, right? From 2010, which costs between 80 to 100 million in budget. So it's not that crazy, okay? 15 billion. The problem is when you say billion, and then it's like it gives this weird number of like how much money is that in you know, US dollars or euros or whatever. But $100 million is not that crazy, okay? It's not that insane. Even like Genshin Impact cost about 100 million to make, right? And at the end of the day, if it makes the money back, like in sales, like think about it like this. An average Pokemon game, like New Gen, sells about 20 million plus copies. So if we just do the math here, okay, think about this. So if the game costs 100 million to make, and they make $60 off of every sale. Of course, there's taxes and stuff. You know, again, keep in mind, there is taxes and stuff. But let's just do a rough estimate here. So $60 per game, and they sell it to 20 million people. That puts us at a rough $1.2 billion in revenue. So 100 million is nothing, okay? It's like barely, like, it's nothing. It doesn't even scratch the surface of the amount of money they make. You know what I mean? It's like not even 10% of the cost of the actual game. Like, it's nothing in comparison. Keep in mind, I did the lowball estimate. 20 million is not even what they usually sell. They sell more than that. I think, you know, Scarlet Violet sold like, what, 26 million, 25 million? And then Sword and Shield also sold about like 20, like around that range. So again, I'm even lowballing it with these sales numbers. Like if we actually did it at like 20, let's say 25 million sales, right? 25 million. That's $1.5 billion in just pure like cash flow. So again, not that crazy. That budget would not be that insane. It would be on the higher end, okay? Because a lot of these games here, like even like just looking down this list, like You have like the Tomb Raider game costs about 100 million. Battlefield 4 costs about 100 million to make. Max Payne, same thing. Like I'm gonna go all the way down here towards the further down. Destiny, for example, estimated cost was around 140 million. Okay. And then in terms of for them, they sold over 325 million worth of sales in the first 5 days. Marvel's Avengers game, that one probably was costing 170 million to make. GTA 5 cost about, what is this, 100 million budget. So yeah, same thing. And at the end here is Red Dead Redemption 2. So this one cost about 370 to 540 million dollars in cost to make. Which is fine because they sold 37 million copies. So again, do the math on that, right? They sold 37 million copies, right? So 37 million times that $60 price tag. They made 2.2 billion off of it, right? So it costing 370 to 500 million dollars is nothing. That's pretty much where I'm going to leave that though. So that budget, not too crazy. It'll be up there with most recent games. Even Cyberpunk is up there, you know what I mean? Costing about 316 million. So that's way more. But it's up there on the budgets of the top 20 most expensive games of all time. It's up there, okay? It's not the most expensive, but it's one of the more expensive side. So that would be pretty sick if they did do that, if they actually sank way more money into it. Now, he says, I don't know if Gen 2 or Gen 5 will be released on this year and the next, and who will develop by Game Freak. One will be one will be released on 2024 and the other in 2025. Both will be released on Nintendo Switch 1 consoles. That's just the original Switch. Because again, there are rumors right now about a brand new, a brand new Switch, basically, more or less. Moving on though, one of the themes will have a new terrain gimmick, and the competitive will be Switch on this game. Okay, nobody's working on Scarlet and Violet. What? Okay, the Gen 10 game will be released in 2026. Okay. And this guy just says, F you to everybody who doesn't want to believe me. The time will speak. Well, that's not a good way to end your post, because that's how I start feeling like you're BS. The moment you start putting profanity in here, you're lost to plot, man. But yeah, so again, this one's bullshit. This one is fake. I mean, it doesn't say anything, okay? It's all it says is a Gen 2 remake, a Gen 5 reinvented game, and then a new generation Pokemon game, which is obviously going to happen eventually. But, it's just, I'm not seeing anything from this one that gives me any hope for it to be real. But either way, that's the first one. Let's move on to the second one. So this is the last rumor we're going to read. And this one is a little bit more wacky, I guess. But here's what it said, though. So, leak Pokemon Day 2024 by Anonymous is posted today. Let's go. This is, let's see. This is what will be revealed on the 27th. So the 27th is Pokemon Day, for those who do not know. So we are only, okay, we're only 19 days away now. Give or take, right? We're about 19 days away. Not counting today, I guess 18 days. But yeah, very soon, guys. Very, very soon. He says, this is what will be revealed on the 27th. 1, classic games on the Nintendo Switch. So what he mean by classic games is I guess, gold, silver, crystal, red, blue, yellow, right? That those would be released on Nintendo Switch Online, which would be very nice. I would... Listen, Game Freak, Pokemon, Nintendo, we would love that if you would be willing to give it to us. We take that shit in a heartbeat. But it's if you guys were willing to give it. He says here, the second season of Pokemon Concierge. Now, Pokemon Concierge is basically this new show on Netflix of Pokemon. Tried watching it. It was too jarring for me to keep watching it. It just felt too off. Continuing though, he says, obviously, if Miraidon is in Unite, yes, Miraidon has been confirmed for Pokemon Unite, Koraidon will be as well. They will announce his debut date. That'll be a day along with another mythical. So another mythical, which other mythical would that be? Then I wonder. Moving on though, he says, Pokemon Concierge game? Really? Oh, Chief, I don't know if I want that. I'm gonna be real. I don't mind spin-offs, but I don't really want to be working as a hotel, concierge. I don't think that's something I want to do. I'm gonna be real. I don't know, Chief. I ain't feeling it. He says also the Pokemon Concierge clothing pieces in Pokemon Go. Okay, fair enough. It says here the new film Pokemon Horizons. Okay, so new film in Pokemon Horizons, the anime, I guess. The anime, the new movie, Satoshi, which is just the Japanese name for Ash, will not be in this film. And there will be a film teaser. The film will be revolving around Terrapagos and Ogerpon, which, hey, that's fair enough, man. I don't see anything about that being weird. Then he says, a Let's Go Ho-Oh and Let's Go to Lugia. Nothing very different from Let's Go to Pikachu and Eevee. Don't expect much, okay? Well, I mean, hey, I still think it would be sick if we got a Let's Go type game. But not really Let's Go itself, but just a remake that had that art style to it, which I don't mind the art style. Pokemon Black and White 3 will take place 10 years after Black and White 2. Unova is an open world. It will have a Unovum form and new evolutions such as Durant's evolution of the Steel and Earth type. Wait, ground type you mean, don't you? And also a pre-evolution for Heatmore, okay? Many new characters, new places. You are the son and daughter of the protagonist of the second game. That, I don't think that would be real. And your rival is the son and daughter of the first protagonist, and you join forces against the son of N, who thinks that your parents were somehow responsible for his father's, like, demise, I guess, and now seeks revenge. The teacher is Bianca, now an adult and older. You'll discover that everything has changed in Unova. At the end of the presentation, a black screen is displayed with a mysterious cry in the background. Water, fire, and plants appear on the screen. Then the final phrase, "How much do you know about this world?" That would be sick if they did do something like that in the end. But for the rest of this post, I'm gonna be real, Chief. I don't think so. I don't think they would go ahead and do all that crazy stuff that was just mentioned there, like basically making you the player, like the child of all those people. Like, I don't think they would do that. I just feel like that would be really weird because that would almost be messing with people's childhood memories of those characters because they attach themselves to them. So it would be saying like, hey man, guess what? You're the child, you're a parent now. Which is like, I don't know if they would do that. It just seems very odd to do. Like, it doesn't seem like something they'd be doing. You know what I mean? That's pretty much where I would put that. I just think that it seems like a weird thing to do. It just doesn't feel like something they would be willing to do. Or also, why would they do it? It just feels really odd. Like, it feels so strange to do that. It's like, what? That's so odd, man. But yeah, pretty much that is that, guys. Again, keep in mind, guys, hop on and do the brand new event in Scarlet and Violet. Don't forget this. This is going to be a, nice set of Pokemon to get your hands on if you haven't already. Also, plus, gives you a reason to play Scarlet and Violet again if you haven't gotten these guys yet. And also just to get them in there, these specific Tera forms if you don't have them in these Tera forms just yet. So definitely just just a good opportunity to get yourself some of these if you haven't actually gotten them yet. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.